sales and clinics. Who are my influences? I could sit here for literally day on day talking about the different people that influence me, but I think what's really important is the way that they've influenced me and what I've done with that information. I think anyone I've ever listened to has influenced me in some way, from my father onwards, and even young students that I see play today. Sometimes I'm in a drum room at a music uni and I see someone play something that I've never heard before, and that can inspire me, and I think, whoa, that's amazing, I'm going to take it somewhere else. If I hear someone, for me, like Buddy Rich maybe, classic drum, anyone who knows my style will know that I obviously have been influenced greatly by him. When I was younger, I heard Ian Paice from Deep Purple do a drum solo on vinyl from a concert in 1970, and I didn't really understand how Buddy Ritchie was a jazz drummer, a lot older, and how Ian Paice was a rock drummer, how Ian could sound like Buddy Rich. I was so naive at 9 or 10 to think they're different sides of the fence, until I got a little bit older and read that Ian was really influenced by Buddy Rich, so he ended up playing similar way in his drum solos. Now for me, that kind of blew the lid off jazz and rock should be different worlds. So what I tried to do when I started to grow up was to see no divides between music genres, and it all sounds very sort of peace and love, but I think it's an important thing to do. So you understand certain styles, but after that, cross-pollinate and move the styles within each other, because that's what I do when I play. I don't just want to think someone's a folk musician or a jazz musician. I just see it as music, a bigger picture, which doesn't suit everybody, because people like to kind of categorize all the time, but I think that's fine. If you're in a record shop and you're trying to find a CD, they need to be in sections, but in your head you should be wide open. And a term I use a lot in clinics is referencing. It's really interesting when you see someone like Kurt Cobain talk about or Dave Grohl talk about Kurt Cobain and talk about the album Nevermind, and then in the next breath he's talking how much Kurt Cobain loved Lennon McCartney's songwriting, and yet you would think that Nirvana were like trying to do something opposite to the Beatles, but Kurt Cobain and Dave Grohl both love their melodies, and when I listen to Nevermind again, I can actually hear that the melodies are so strong, not in a She Loves You kind of way, but in their way in the 90s, and that was kind of cool. So you would never reference Paul McCartney or John Lennon with Nevermind, but their influences on it, and I think that's very, very cool. Just ripping someone off is not a good idea. Taking an influence and then borrowing from it and moving it into your style is a good idea. So being able to reference and see where things come from, and then kind of move it forward is one of the only ways I can see music progressing, because otherwise we're just going to say everything's been done already and no one's going to move forward. So I think if you're a young musician, please listen to all the different bands. Don't close yourself off to anything, because all of it will give you more strength and power as a musician as you move forward.